It's the Bears and Buffalo Show.
And we're live, Beers and Buffalo Podcast, Season 7, Episode 28. Back at it again with a full docket, a full agenda of things to talk about for this episode. Bills offseason, draft news, Sabres playoffs, NCAA Final Four recap or upcoming games this weekend. We're going to touch base on a lot of things, man, but we haven't talked Bills and Sabres in quite some time.
It's been a while, and I'm like, we're kind of due for some Bills talk. Yeah. There's been a lot of changes in the player personnel, the coaching personnel.
Yeah. I mean, we touched base on.
Yeah, I was going to say we touched base a little bit on some of the coaching personnel. I think there was a little like tweaking here and there for like subcategories for the higher, like the main positions for coaching, but. Sabres are on a fucking warpath right now, and I'm excited to talk about some Sabres hockey.
We do have the Sabres game on the television right now. They're live playing Ottawa. I think it's 0-0 going in the second period.
Second period's about to start. Literally starting right now.
Don't like to do these when there's a sporting event on, but schedule yesterday couldn't get this out. Had some house things I had to fix first, but
that's all right.
We postponed it for today. We'll get the job done. No beer review again. Just drinking good old Miller Lite for this episode. Nothing wrong with that, man. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll wait till we start an actual new season of Beers in Buffalo to start reviewing some beers. While we're just doing these off-season quote-unquote podcasts, we'll just stick to the good old trusty Miller Lite. We don't have to review it. Everybody knows this is the best light beer that you can buy.
Absolutely. Not sponsored, but if they do want to sponsor us, more than happy to take Miller Lite
for
as a sponsor,
for sure.
All right, guys, let's get into it here. We'll kick things off with kind of going back in time. I tried to set things up chronologically here so we can talk about kind of the Bills' entirety of the offseason, and we're going to start with the firing of the head coach back in January. Bills fired Sean McDermott. I know there was a lot of discourse about this. When it happened, was it the right move? You know, it seemed like some fans were okay with it. Some fans were not okay with it. I was fine with the moving on. I think we both agree that it was the way that the firing happened.
Go ahead. This was the first year that it wasn't his fault that the Bills lost.
Right.
Not entirely his fault. Yes, the Bills should have beaten Denver. They had the lead. The Bills let Denver drive down and score the game tying field goal to go into overtime. So that was my biggest issue is the Bills head coach is a defensive head coach,
right? And
your defense again in the playoffs kind of cost you the game. Josh Allen, even though he had 5 turnovers total, they were leading in that game and they still lost.
Yeah.
It was time to move on. But honestly, if they were getting rid of anybody after that game, I thought maybe it would have been Joe Brady. And then lo and behold, Joe Brady ends up becoming the head coach. That was my biggest shock. And then I'm hearing more about it, the more the continuity. He learned from McDermott. He's got the qualifications. He's got the mannerisms of a head coach. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. And then they announced that he's still calling plays. And then I see an interview where he's talking about screen passes and why they call so many of them.
Right.
And I'm just like, I have a little bit more of a hesitation on Joe Brady being the head coach because he's defending the screen passes. And it's like, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Fucking air it out. Granted, we don't have.
I think it was just a predictability because I don't.
It was very predictable.
I'm not opposed to screen passes, but the amount of screen passes when we were doing the screen passes, it just seemed like you can kind of read our offense pretty easy if you're a defensive opposing defensive coordinator. So I'm okay with that, but I just felt like our offense got a little bit predictable, and I missed the explosive plays that we used to do with Josh. We still got the same quarterback. He's gotten better.
For sure.
Why not? Why are we kind of limiting his, I guess, I don't know, ability, but
he's
also
got the cannon.
And then the other side of this is, well, our run game was phenomenal last year. James Cook had a great year again. And I understand leaning on the run a little bit more, which is huge. I mean, you got to be able to run the football in the National Football League.
100%.
You have to be able to run it. Time of possession, killing the clock in the late game, being able to pick up those crucial first downs, third and shorts, fourth and inches, which we've done a lot of Josh QB sneaks on, but just relying on James Cook a lot. It was nice, but then it felt like we took away from what Josh could do on the explosive front. More, the methodical move the ball down the field, which will work, but not having those big plays, unless it was those 4th and longs and we busted out a trick play and they were working.
Those were working.
Year.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, where are those trick plays at on like a 2nd and 6 or, at a 3rd and 4? We don't always have to wait for it on a 4th down. I want to see some of these more explosive plays. I'll just call them that throughout the year. So, yeah, I mean, after seeing the Brady introduction press conference, I was a little bit more open to him.
Yeah.
And then I saw him go on McAfee's podcast and show, and he feels like he's just kind of one of the guys. He almost seems like he's a player coach. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he's going to get along with the guys in the locker room. The issue I have with that is when shit doesn't work out, look at Mike McDaniel in Miami.
Yeah.
Player coach right there, where when they're winning, everything's gravy. But then when they're losing, he's not that personality that's going to be able to wrangle the fucking group together, and they're going to listen to him because they'll be like, hey, you've been our buddy the whole time. Yeah. Why am I going to listen? Why are you trying to yell at me and tell me what to do? But
that's when we turn around and Josh is going to be that guy. Be like, listen, hey, we have that quarterback. Yeah. Mike McDaniel didn't have that quarterback that was Josh Allen that's going to wrangle these guys back in and be like,
a leader.
He's not a leader. Tua wasn't a leader in Miami, which is why he's not there anymore. And so Josh is like, if things get a little bit like south with the coach, Josh is going to be that guy that's going to be like, hey, listen, I've got the coach's back. Trust me. And the guys will be like, listen, all right, I trust Josh, so I'm going to trust the coach. Whereas before it was like, I trust the coach and Josh. Now it's like, if things go south for Joe Brady, Josh Allen's going to be the one to wrangle them back in and be like, listen, I still have faith in me and have faith in him, if that makes sense.
It does. I think Joe Brady is definitely fortunate to be in the situation he is.
100%.
With the roster that he has and the quarterback he has, and it will definitely make his job a lot easier.
Yeah.
We must have, I don't know, unless I missed it. I don't know if you saw this. End of February, they hired Trace McSorley as the offensive assistant for the Bills.
No, I missed that.
So Trace McSorley, he was a quarterback 4 years ago for the Cardinals. He played
I did
2 years before that,
or
2 years with the Ravens before that, backing up Lamar Jackson for a couple of those years. But he started like 6 games with the Cards. I literally thought this dude was still in the NFL because he's young, dude.
Same.
He's a young guy. So I don't know his age. I think he was the same age as Josh, if I'm not mistaken. But it was funny that we hired this guy, and I'm thinking he was a fucking player the whole time. But I missed that news. Early March, the pre-free agency where the legal tampering period, Bills released Dane Jackson, Taylor Rapp, Curtis Samuel. We traded Taron Johnson to the Raiders, I think, for a pick. And
after we were like, we're releasing him.
Yes, we were going to release him.
The Raiders were like, no, we want him. We'll trade for him, which is great.
Good.
Great for us.
Thanks for. I actually think
it's probably like a 6.
Did we get a pick? I forget.
We got a pick out of it. 6th or 7th, I think.
Yep. And then in between that time, Connor McGovern re-signs with the Bills to a 4-year deal. What I got? Up to $52 million, $32 guaranteed, securing our offensive line center position, which is important and something I really was hoping we could. What?
No, I was going to let you finish, but that was our biggest re-signing. Connor McGovern. No offense to Alec Anderson, but when Connor McGovern went down, Alec Anderson looked absolutely lost, and the offensive line looked.
That's a tough position to be.
It's very tough.
It's not like the rest of the line. The center has to be in sync with the quarterback. I mean, he's the one hiking the ball. The timing needs to be impeccable. That chemistry between quarterback and center, it's hard to disrupt that. And I understand they take the snaps and stuff still in practice, but that's a very hard position to kind of fill mid-season.
Yeah. So Connor McGovern and probably Deion Dawkins are the two biggest positions for the offensive line. Your center and your left tackle, which is your blind side, are your two biggest holes you have to fill, and you have to have the best available for your quarterback to succeed.
And so March 9th through the 11th is when the free agency finally opens, and then we make a splash on the 9th, trading for wide receiver DJ Moore from the Bears, kind of giving us a top receiver for Josh Allen. The critique with DJ Moore is that he's not really a prominent number one. Technically, I guess you can say he's a number one. He has been operating as such, except for last year. They kind of phased him out of that offense a little bit with the emergence of Rome. But DJ Moore has been a number one in this league. Now, I think, and why a lot of fans are probably upset, because I got more, oh man, really, than people being excited for this thing, was because we were all had our, I said on AJ Brown coming here. Yeah. We thought we were going to get an elite number one. And when we just got a regular number one receiver, I think everybody was just kind of disappointed. No, I mean, regardless, we're still getting a one. I'm happy with that trade. He's a good route runner. Yep. He is a actual number one. No more, we're just going to plug in a guy. We're going to have Keon Coleman. He's going to be fine this year, right? No, that's all right. We got Shakir, right? Well, he's not really a one. All right. Well, don't worry. We'll go out and get Joshua Palmer. Well, he's going to get hurt and not play that many. He's not really a number one. We just got guys that kind of fill in different positions. Right. We got a guy that could be and can be the number one from the start of the year to the end of the year. So
what I like about DJ Moore, now I'm with you. When we signed DJ Moore, we traded for DJ Moore, I'm like, really? I wanted AJ Brown as well. I wanted AJ Brown, and who was the other wide receiver that was available for trade? There was somebody else, but besides the point, I was like, oh, really? DJ Moore? But then I looked into it, and DJ Moore last year with the Bears had more catches of 20-plus yards downfield than all Bills receivers combined, which he only had 6. So that tells you the fact that we didn't have a guy that could get separation and get downfield at the same time and make these 20-plus yard catches. So I was like, okay, I like this. And then I dug deeper into it, and I looked at his years in Carolina when he had, his best years when he had over 1,000 years.
Here, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards. Last year, 888. And then he gets traded to the Bears, 1,300 yards.
And that was before Rome Odunze.
Before then Rome's rookie year, close to 1,000 still. And then you can see them kind of getting phased out of the offense last year.
And those 3 years in the Panthers, you know who his offensive coordinator was? It was Joe Brady.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, Joe Brady was his offensive coordinator in Carolina, or one of the guys, and
it makes sense.
It might not have been his offensive coordinator.
He was on the staff, though.
He was on the staff, and he might have been
receivers coach or something.
Might have been the wide receivers coach. Might have been the offensive coordinator. Yeah, either way, I'm looking at his Panthers coaching when he was kind of in charge of DJ Moore and the wide receivers, and DJ Moore had his best years. I'm like, listen, he's got familiarity with the head coach. Now he's going to get probably the best quarterback that he's ever fucking played with. And I'm like, okay, maybe Josh and DJ Moore could put up DJ Moore could have an actual 1,000-yard receiving year, which the Bills haven't had since Stephon Diggs left. So it's been a couple of years since the Bills have had a 1,000-yard actual wide receiver. Yeah. And it's like, okay, DJ Moore, it wasn't the pretty pick. It wasn't the pretty trade. But then you go and look at all of the wide receivers that signed new contracts, and the contract that DJ Moore has that the Bills are going to have to pay is like fucking pennies compared to what this new wide. Look at JSN from Seattle. He just signed a new contract, and he's the highest paid non-quarterback in the league right now.
We really can't compare the talent of JSN to him.
Right, but I'm just saying the contract you can compare a little bit.
Sure, the money for those elite number ones, and that's another issue. It's like, I want AJ Brown, but we can't afford AJ Brown.
Mm-mm.
We can,
we can afford DJ Moore.
We can afford
and
DJ
with
Moore.
Our quarterback, he might be able to ascend DJ Moore into AJ Brown, JSN like numbers. Yeah. And for the contract, at first I was like, we're paying him way too much.
So part of this is like, and we've talked about this before. Part of it is the ability of the receiver. The other part is the quarterback that you have thrown to that receiver. But that third piece here is the play calling and involvement of the receivers.
Right.
And I think we tend to forget that whenever we're talking about in recent years us acquiring like a Curtis Samuel. And I get health is a big part of that too.
Yeah.
I should say that. But we acquire a Curtis Samuel, or last year was Joshua Palmer, and we were both very high on Joshua Palmer.
Yep.
But even before the injury, he was just getting maybe like a couple targets a game, not really operating as like a 1 or 2 at all. I think it just depends on how Joe Brady is going to be calling these plays and how we're going to be fitting these wide receivers. Now, I imagine you go and trade for a guy like this, you're going to be involving him. This isn't the same as picking up Joshua Palmer. This is a completely different scenario where I think we needed a number 1. We went out and traded, gave up a draft pick for a number 1. And I think they're going to involve this guy in the offense. And they know, they've seen what it was like when we had Diggs. And it kind of was working without him, but it's not the same type of offense.
Yeah.
So now we have a guy, we have that missing piece here. So just to kind of circle back, I think that part of it was involvement in the play calling. I don't think we're going to have any issue involving DJ Moore in the play calling this year. He's going to get the target share. He's going to get a good chunk of those target share this upcoming year.
I completely agree. And I think the continuity with Joe Brady and Joe Brady knowing what he can do, I think DJ Moore can do more, no pun intended, than what we've had in our wide receiver core.
Right.
He's got the speed. He's got the route running. I'm not going to say he's as good as Stephon Diggs in his prime. I think Stephon Diggs is probably a little bit past his prime, especially since the injury. But DJ Moore has shown that he can be the number 1. He can get open downfield. He can be the route runner that we've been lacking the last couple of years. And the year after we got rid of Diggs, it was an everybody eats mantra, which worked that year. The following year, the league's like, well, they don't really have anybody. We can kind of game plan around that. Well, now you have to game plan around DJ Moore, who's more explosive, who's a better route runner, can get open, and then if they decide to double team him or if he's covered, I think that frees up Dalton Kincaid, that frees up Khalil Shakir. That's probably going to free up Keon Coleman. So I really think that DJ Moore, albeit wasn't the prettiest signing when we traded for him, or wasn't the prettiest thing in general, I think it's going to work based off of what he can do and what he's going to take away defensively from everybody else, because he's going to demand a lot of the best coverage that we see this year defensively. So DJ Moore taking away the number 1, cornerback, safety, whatever, is going to free up Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. Do we still have Palmer, or do we end up getting rid of him?
I think he's still on the roster.
I know we got rid of.
Let's see. I got the freaking depth chart up. Nope, he's still on the team.
Yeah, who did we get rid of? It was the other wide receiver.
It was Samuel.
Oh, Curtis Samuel. Yeah, because Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore were on the same team in Carolina. They had their special handshake coming out, and I was kind of excited for that because there was the videos going around of them doing their handshake coming out, and then when they were on different teams, they each still did their handshake with the other player minus the other player on the other teams. I was like, oh, I'm excited for this. And then, Curtis Samuel got released, which we all saw coming.
We saw that. That was the writing was in the sand with that one. Just
for sure.
Couldn't stay healthy. Contract was bad. Just not enough time on the field, man. All right. Right before mid-March, we extended Dawson Knox, 3-year contract, keeping him under contract through 2029 season. I think he's taken like the league minimum at this point. Little surprised on that because I thought it was finally time to move on. Not that I didn't like Dawson Knox. I just thought it was time to move on from him, where we saw potential with Jackson Hawes last year as well emerging, and could easily fill that as a younger Dawson Knox type of role, a blocking tight end that can occasionally go out there and run routes. He had some touchdowns, but still focus around Dalton Kincaid as being your primary receiving tight end. So I thought it was kind of just shocking we went another 3 years, but I bet you that was more of Josh keeping his pal around, putting a little word in to Brady. Hey man, we can't get rid of this guy. Good locker room guy. Good for the culture.
Yep.
A good culture guy.
100%.
And he's a fan favorite as well. So, yeah, just surprising. I thought it was just time to move on. Then mid-March hits. We re-signed our punter for a 1-year contract, and then we did the defensive overhaul here. We get Bradley Chubb signing a 3-year deal, up to $43.5 million, 29 guaranteed. Cornerback D. Alford signing a 3-year contract, kind of filling in that nickel role for Taron Johnson's departure. And then we got a couple safeties and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, a 1-year deal, and Geno Stone coming over from Cincy on a 1-year deal. So a lot of 1-year deals here and a couple 3-year deals. I'm not too upset with some of these signings.
No.
I think the Gardner-Johnson one, the CJ, just because of there's a lot of noise as far as his conduct outside of the football field, getting in trouble here. He's just kind of got that personality that might not be right away, I guess, fit the mold of the Bills, but that's something that could change with time and being in a winning culture and being in this organization. But other than that, I'm fine with the Bradley Chubb. A lot of people were not too happy with that because of, he's been hurt. He had a full season after, so he was hurt 2 years ago, missed that season.
We talked about this.
He played the entire season last year, had good numbers. That's what I want to see. I want to see, can you play post-injury before we get you? I don't want to be the test, the guinea pig. I want the team that had you or another team to be the guinea pig. If it works out, great. We'll take it after that. But he had a full, healthy season last year. Same age as Josh Allen. They're in the same draft.
Yeah.
That was who I think there was something with John Elway taking him in the draft and upset because he wanted Josh Allen and ended up taking Bradley Chubb instead. So Josh could have been a Bronco if it fell that to him. He was going to take Josh Allen over Bradley Chubb.
That would have been something to see. But, everything worked out, for us. We got our franchise quarterback. We've had him for 8 years or 9 years at this point. And Bradley Chubb had his best years in Denver. He had good years in Miami, but he had his best years in Denver. And then, lo and behold, we signed our defensive coordinator came from Denver. Now, I didn't look into seeing if he was any part of Denver's coaching staff when Bradley Chubb was there, but that just shows that it's like, okay, we got our defensive coordinators from Denver. If he was there for Bradley Chubb when he had his best years, there's a reason that we went and got Bradley Chubb. And we went from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3 with our new defensive coordinator. And I really think that we picked up a lot of players that filled in the void of not being 3-4 players to 4-3 players, which is why I'm like, okay, I kind of like a lot of these signings in the offseason because I really feel like they're going to fit into the defensive scheme better than had we kept everything the same from last year, being a 3-4. I think the only question mark that I have is probably going to be Ed Oliver, who doesn't play the 4-3 defensive scheme the best. But I really feel like Ed Oliver is still young enough to learn that, and he's versatile enough to be able to fit into a 4-3 scheme, which is what we're going to be playing next year. And my only other question mark after Ed Oliver is going to be Michael Hoyt, who is regularly a 3-4 defensive scheme. But I feel like Michael Hoyt, from what I saw last year, the game and a half that he played with the Bills, I feel like that dude, his energy and his ability, he's going to fit in no matter what you put him in. So whether he came from a 3-4, went into a 3-4, got hurt, we switched to a 4-3, I bet you Michael Hoyt's going to be an absolute monster. And I've already seen people saying that Michael Hoyt's probably going to be a second string guy going into next year. We didn't bring him in on a 3-year contract for him to be a second string guy. I get it. Coaching personnel has changed, but what I saw from Michael Hoyt, I believe that he's going to be able to fill in anywhere he needs to be. He's one of those guys. It's like, yeah, he's primarily 3-4, but 4-3, I don't think it matters.
Just looking at the depth chart, where they got him at. He's not on here because I think he's still
probably
hurt.
because he's still hurt.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's a linebacker.
Yeah,
so
back up to Greg Rousseau.
To Rousseau.
And honestly, Greg Rousseau might be the odd man out because I don't.
No.
Greg Rousseau might be the question mark that doesn't fit in a 4-3 defense.
They better figure that out because I think
Greg Rousseau is another one of those guys I think is young enough to be like, I can figure this out. Like he'll be able to convert to a 4-3 and just be able to fill in where he needs to.
He's one of our better pass rushers.
For sure.
You got to figure that out.
Michael Hoyt's also phenomenal at the pass rush.
Agreed. Excuse me. So late March now, notable departure. I missed this one. A.J. Epineza leaves Buffalo.
He might come back.
Signed a 1-year deal with the Browns.
But that got voided.
Did it?
It got voided because they didn't like his physical.
Oh, they pulled the fucking what do you call it on old boy?
Yeah, they pulled Max Crosby, Ravens on Max Crosby. Yep.
Yeah, because he's another guy, good pass rusher. I like
when he's healthy,
and he would fit the 3. I feel like he would fit a 3-4 defense pretty good. 4-3. No, we're switching to a 3-4. I thought. We're fit. Yeah, you're going from 4-3 to 3-4.
Homie, why are you just correcting me on this? I've been saying we're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4.
Yeah, I know. You said it the other way just a second ago. I said he will fit the 3-4. You're like 4-3.
Oh,
we're going to a 3-4.
Okay.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're
Jesus.
right. My bad. I'm pretty sure it's a 3-4.
I think it is too.
Yeah, we were going from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense. And
Bills are transitioning to 3-4.
Yes.
Okay. So I think he would fit the 3-4.
Okay.
3 linemen, 4 linebackers. I feel like that he would fit that mold with his play style. So unfortunately, well, maybe he'll come back. That'll be.
We could probably get him on league minimum now because of another team being like, we're backing out of signing you to whatever contract he was going to sign.
Worst case scenario, sign him to the practice squad. He might get picked up though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I don't want that. But when healthy, I loved Matt Milano. Matt Milano was probably one of the better, linebackers that we had.
Yeah, but when healthy.
I like Dorian Williams.
Yep.
When he was taking over in place of Matt Milano, I still like Dorian Williams over him, but a depth signing for Matt Milano, sign me up for that all day.
Now, where's Matt Milano on the depth chart?
Well, he's not on the team, so he's not on the depth chart.
Where'd he go?
Weren't we just talking about Matt?
No, we weren't. We were talking about A.J. Epineza, bro.
A.J. Epineza. Why? I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt Milano.
What happened to Matt Milano?
Matt Milano's not on the team.
Are we sure? I think he is. I don't know why. There's no update.
My apologies then, because for whatever reason, I went from A.J. Epineza. I liked A.J. Epineza as
you were confusing the hell out of me, dude. I'm because you went right from it to Matt Milano. You're like, I like Matt Milano when he's healthy, and I'm like, why are we talking about Matt Milano?
My bad.
Yeah. So A.J. Epineza was where we're talking about. Although, so he's gone, could come back. Matt Milano still in the roster, not showing on the depth chart. Have fucking no idea why that's the case. The rest of our linebackers, I like, man. A couple other signings, center Lloyd Cushenberry III, probably one of the top 3 names in the NFL. Kind of reminds me of the Key and Peele skit. Another offensive lineman in Austin Corbett. And then we bring back Trent Sherfield, wide receiver, which another one that kind of slipped through the cracks. All on 1-year contracts. Just adding offensive depth, really. What's up?
Matt Milano's a free agent.
Okay, so that's why.
That's why I was thinking like free agent Matt Milano, AJ Epineza. I thought the Browns signed Matt Milano. We talked about
Browns signed
AJ Epineza, but they did back out of his contract, so I'm correct on that at least.
Fair enough.
And then for some reason I went AJ Epineza to Matt Milano. My apology. Your mom's gonna text you, be like, Jeff's drunk.
Trent Sherfield signing, I'm not too mad about. Good depth piece. I thought he was fine with us when we had him. Just he didn't get a lot of opportunity, but he's going to be there. because we're going to have injuries throughout the year. So he'll be a plug-and-play type of guy, familiar with the offense. Re-signed Damar Hamlin, 1-year deal after the 2025 season-ending injury to his, I think it was a pectoral injury. Again, another guy. Don't hate him. I talk about this all the time. Don't want him on the team anymore. I think it's time to move on. But, dude, let's just move on from this now. Like, I just feel like we've literally just keeping this guy around because he almost died, and I'm the Bills fan. He's a fan favorite. He died and came back.
He didn't almost die. He did die.
So, but it's time, dude. It's just time to move on.
You're right.
So, we're going to have Damar Hamlin another year.
But hopefully that's a depth piece. Hopefully he's not a starter.
No, he is a depth piece. They went out and got CJ GG will start over him.
I know. I agree.
Geno Stone will start over him.
Yes.
But more importantly, we still got Taylor Rapp. He's going to start over him.
Hopefully that's
not Taylor Rapp. We like Taylor Rapp. Go Cole Bishop. So we have our safety pieces in, right? I'm not just making this up. Yeah.
No.
Cole Bishop.
Yeah.
They got him as a secondary after Geno Stone.
I'm surprised Maxwell Harrison's technically a second string guy, based off of what you've got here.
Well, let's see where they got, because they have Dorian Strong here. Why?
I think because of the injury to Maxwell Harrison. That's got to be. That's got to be because.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
CJ GJ is. Yes, he's more of a cornerback anyways. D. Elford played the outside. I thought D. Elford played the outside, and I'm pretty sure he came over from the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. This depth chart is going to be there's only a couple guys. Bradley Chubb's going to start. Christian Benford's going to. Cole Bishop's. But a lot of these new faces, it's to be determined whether or not who's starting and in what position until we get into the mini camp and training camp and the preseason. We can actually see these guys in full speed. Is Sabres scored or they scored?
Ottawa just scored. It's 1-1.
Okay.
I was just looking up. Matthias Samuelson scored. So 1-1, about a little under 4 minutes or around 4 minutes to go. 4:12 to go. 4:42. I can't read.
Yeah, you're good. And then let's a couple injury updates. Josh Allen's status. Joe Brady said he's good to go after offseason foot surgery. No concerns entering the offseason program. Dalton Kincaid confirmed he will not require knee surgery. Will focus on rehab after playing through a torn PCL. And then Michael Hoyt, the experts are saying he should be ready at the start of the season following his Achilles injury.
Which scares me because we've seen people come back from an Achilles injury, mainly quarterbacks, and be like, okay, well, the quarterbacks, they kind of look like shit, and they don't have to have as much movement as someone like Michael Hoyt. So that kind of concerns me a little bit. I think Michael Hoyt might take some time, a few games, a few weeks, whatever you want, just to get back up to game speed. He might be ready, but I don't think he's going to be the Michael Hoyt that we saw.
And unfortunately, then we might not. Then we kind of might already have answered our question with starting and not. He might get beat out in camp and just be the depth piece and the backup piece. Then, I mean, if you look at the list, they got him at linebacker. Now they moved him to linebacker. Where was he? I just saw his fucking name somewhere.
Behind Greg Rousseau.
Yeah, Greg. So obviously Greg's starting, but then if you look at the other outside, it's Bradley Chubb. So Chubb and Rousseau are 100% probably going to start. He might have been able to challenge maybe Chubb. I don't see Greg
I don't
Rousseau,
think so.
But that's what I mean. It would have been hard, and he's not a middle linebacker, so he wouldn't have played.
But I think he could play those if he needed to.
I don't think so. That's what dude. He's been mainly an edge rusher. He's never been in the middle. He's not a cover guy. He could drop back, but he's not. That's not his primary position. You need to be a Matt Milano. You need to be somebody that's a little bit smaller inside to be able to go lateral like that.
Yeah. And that's where the injury comes in. It's like, okay, if we do put him in the middle and we do put him where you need to go side to side, that Achilles injury could come into play. Be like, it's 100% to play,
right?
But it's not 100% to do the shit that we're going to ask him to do. Absolutely. So that's my only concern.
All right. Let's get in some draft talk here. So, our current pick inventory, what are we looking at? We are set to pick number 26 in round 1. We're without a round 2 pick because of the DJ Moore trade. We dealt that,
which is fine.
Pick. And we're currently showing 7 total picks across the draft. What we need,
Yes.
offense, yeah. Still, we need another guard, a nose tackle because we're switching to this 3-4. Still would like to get some depth at receiver, another edge rusher, another inside and outside linebacker, and I still wouldn't mind more cornerbacks and safeties.
No,
The
I
entire
agree.
defense. Basically, I just named. I didn't even realize it without saying it. We could still use depth pieces in those regards, and even a wide receiver, just because we've seen the injuries just pile up throughout the years. The only thing that I feel the only position I felt very comfortable, obviously besides quarterback, that we haven't really needed in a long time is running back.
Yeah.
Because behind James Cook, we have a great core, a good committee of running backs.
Yeah.
That's the only other. I've never worried about the running back. We could plug fucking Frank Gore Jr. in if we need to.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. Some potential draft candidates here. They listed out a couple of guys. Now, I don't watch college football like that, but wide receiver Malik Benson out of Oregon, wide receiver Denzel Boston out of Washington, and KC Conception, what a name, out of Texas A&M. So a few wide receivers in there, couple linebackers, Josiah Trotter out of Missouri, Caleb Elarms or out of TCU, and then the cornerbacks, Julian Neal out of Arkansas, Andre Fuller out of Toledo, safety Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon, and lastly, an edge rusher, Jayshawn Barman out of Michigan. All big schools here. Oregon had a really good program in college. So we could pull out one of these fucking wide receivers or, secondary pieces out of Oregon. Texas A&M had a really good season last year. Dude, it would be great if we can get one of these kids from one of these big schools. And hopefully it pans out, because I feel like we haven't had a draft pick pan out. We talked about that.
Yeah,
with
we
the
have.
Fucking, Jesus Christ, our GM.
Brandon Bean.
We talked about it with Bean and how he's kind of dropped the ball in recent years here with some of these picks.
Yeah.
And then everybody pointed to the Keon Coleman thing, and that's when that whole fucking interview thing went haywire. But it would be nice if we can actually hit on one of these guys, because none of these names that I'm reading ring a bell in my head, so they should be able to drop to fucking 26, one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's talks about the Bills trading up to get one of the higher up guys, or to be able to secure the guy that they think is going to be, first round starting potential.
Sure.
But we haven't really seen the Bills make that kind of trade up before they traded for Dalton Kincaid, and they moved up ahead of Dallas, who was supposed to take him because they lost Jake Ferguson or whoever their tight end was at the time, and they needed a tight end, and they were going to take Dalton Kincaid, who was supposed to be this guy that was, a wide receiver-esque tight end, which we thought we were going to need. We thought he was going to be like George Kittle. We thought he was going to be like Travis Kelce. He's shown flashes, but the injuries haven't helped. I think the way the offense has been run hasn't helped. So hopefully some things change here. It's just one of those things that Brandon Bean, I think after getting rid of our second round pick, he has to hit on this first round pick coming into this year.
Yeah.
He has to.
Another thing, and I was naming off all these new signings and shit. A lot of one-year deals here. So none of these guys are really set in stone. I don't picture a lot of these names unless we win the Super Bowl and all these guys are key contributors. I don't see us bringing back half of these fucking guys.
I was going to say the same thing.
You're going to have to draft good.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. We got a lot of guys on defensive side that are one-year contracts. Mm-hmm. So we need to go deeper into the defensive side in the draft this year, which kind of sucks because we're always like, get Josh these number ones or these guys that can start right off the bat for wide receiver. And, we haven't gotten that. We thought Keon Coleman was the guy. Had a couple down years. Yep. The owner called him out, kind of called him a bum pretty much. And if I was his agent, I'd be like, yeah, we're getting you out of here.
We're out of here.
But that beside the point, I really think that based off of our defensive signings and the way that we're transitioning our defense, going from a 4-3 to a 3-4, I think we need to draft some guys that have the potential to sit behind these guys that we brought in for one-year deals, learn a little bit, get some playing time here and there, develop them, and then be able to take over these starting roles going into the following year.
Right.
So I'm kind of hoping we kind of shy away from needing a wide receiver because we have 3 or 4 guys that are still on the team that can be like, okay, we can get DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer. We have these pieces in place on offense. Our running backs are set. Our quarterback's set.
Yeah.
Losing Reggie Gilliam hurts.
That does hurt.
It hurts more because he went to the Patriots.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping we get these guys on the defensive side behind these 1-year pickups. If they don't come back next year, they can learn from them. They can develop behind them. And year 2, they're ready to roll.
Yeah.
That's my biggest hope with this. So that's why I said Bean really needs to hit on that first round pick, probably third round pick, and even the later round picks, because you've seen guys be later round picks and just be absolute studs.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And you mentioned us losing our fullback there, Reggie Gilliam, who's a big part of the offense.
Absolutely.
And since he's been on the team, that makes me think that we're also going to have a little bit of shift in just offensive scheme where we might not be running as much I-form formation,
which would be okay with me.
A lot more single back, or maybe we use Hawes as a fullback here and there. But I can see us going to more maybe spread offense, runs out of the shotgun, single back runs. So I think it'll definitely change the way we our offensive scheme looks and the play calling looks too. So, and that could be for the better because without the fullback, you tend to do more shotgun plays and more of a spread offense. I feel like.
Well, the Bills were one of the most shotgun formation teams over the last 3 years, and I talked about this before. It's very predictable when you run 85% of your plays in the shotgun, what you're going to do. So I would actually like to see us go. I would actually like to see Josh Allen under center more this year than we have been before, because I just feel like it's so predictable when we're running 85% of our plays in the shotgun.
It is, but that's why you got to be able to run out of the shotgun as well. And
which
also,
we've been able to.
There's a time and place for that. Obviously, it has to be the right yardage and downs. This is a replay.
Oh, it's a replay. Okay.
So, I don't agree with us running a fucking shotgun formation the whole way down the field. But without the I-form, I think it'll look a little bit different. Not saying we're not going to do I-form. I just see us running it a little bit less without the fullback or a dedicated fullback. That's all I have on the Bills kind of recap. We can transition to some Sabres talk.
Yep.
Since we were supposed to do the podcast yesterday, I did include our last game.
I was there for that.
Okay. Sabres hit the 100-point mark. We had a 4-3 win. Home
Should
win
have been 4-2
over the Islanders on March 31st. It's our first 100-point season since the 2009-2010 season. Peyton Krebs scored a late go-ahead goal, and Uka made 25 saves in that one.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Win put the Sabres on the doorstep of clinching the playoff berth, potentially as soon as early April, ending a 14-season playoff drought. That's the big talk here, is the playoff drought has finally ended. Everybody's happy.
It's a 2-point. The scenario is 2 points is all they need, and they can get that tonight with a win in any form.
Yep.
Or they can get it even with a loss, they can get it with, I think, Detroit winning and Columbus winning in any fashion. So the Sabres can clinch a playoff berth as early as tonight on April 2nd, if you're not listening live. So hopefully if you're listening over the weekend on Spotify or Apple Podcast, the Sabres have clinched a playoff spot. It is currently 1-1 after 2. But what scares me the most is going into this last stretch of the season. We're not getting that elite goaltending that we were getting before. Our goaltending is good, but Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon were elite going into before the Olympic break. After the Olympic break, the Sabres have been good. They've been winning.
They have been,
but they haven't been winning, if that makes sense. Because the Sabres are like, okay, they won 4-3 against the Islanders. It should have been 4-2. They scored a goal with a second left. And it's just like, okay, the offense hasn't been. The Sabres lead the league in games where they've won by 5 goals, which is unreal to think of.
That can't happen often.
They've got 31 wins by 5 goals. By leading by 5. I saw the stat earlier today. Okay. They've won games by 5 or more goals 31 times this year, which is first in the league. And I think the Avalanche, Dallas, Carolina, and there's a couple other teams that are at the top of the standings that have done that like 28 or 29 times. So they're not like blowing the rest of the league out of the water, but they've had a lot of wins by 5 or more goals. We're not getting that goal scoring right now, and our defense has been good, but our goaltending, it went from elite to just above average, and that kind of scares me going into the playoffs. And now Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has gotten his 3rd consecutive start. Tuesday night, he got his first back-to-back game start since early January. So they've had this tandem where they kind of go back and forth, and now Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is now on his 3rd start in a row, which I don't know if he's done this season at all. But the goaltending, it's been just above average. They were playing elite before.
I think, though, as long as our offense is still putting up big numbers. But they're not. We're getting it done, though, and that's what everybody's looking at.
But that's the scary part is we're getting wins.
Coaches are never gonna go, hey, we're gonna bench you because we only won by 1. It'll never happen. They're looking at the raw data here. They're looking at the wins and loss column. Post Olympics, we were 11-1, best record in that stretch. Over the last 35 games, 28-5-2, top of the Atlantic. I don't think winning by 1 or winning by 5 is going to matter as long as you're winning, because you want to keep that streak going. You want to keep a winning streak going into the playoffs. And I think the team has played pretty good still, despite not blowing teams out and having the crazy differential there. You're still winning games. You're still playing good hockey, and your goaltending has still been good. As long as it's above average, that's fine, because our offense has been great. Our defense, we went out and grabbed some pieces at the trade deadline. But still,
I could talk about
depth.
those.
It's just some depth, though.
I've watched Stanley play. I love that he's physical. I love that he's willing to fight. But he's a fucking liability on defense. I watched this dude take dumb. I was at the Detroit game the previous Friday. Yeah. He took 2 dumb fucking penalties that he didn't need to take, and Detroit scored on both of those power plays. So it's like, fuck.
Yeah, but he's not like a second or third. He's like the fucking third line, isn't he?
I think he's third. Yeah, third line, maybe. Second line at best, but. You know, we sent Zach Metza down to Rochester. Fans were in a fucking uproar. They're like, this is Yarmo's first flaw as a GM. And I understand why he did it. The Sabres are in a weird position where they got these new pieces from buying at the deadline and now have to figure out how they fit in.
Yeah.
I watched Jordan Greenway play because he's been injured all fucking season.
I'm forgetting about him.
I watched him play on Tuesday. He was the slowest player on the ice, bar none. He was so slow. And if I see Jordan Greenway get a starting spot in the fucking playoffs, unless we need him after a game where we get fucking bullied. But Jordan Greenway, I don't think I've seen him fight in probably fucking 2 years.
Yeah,
Jordan Greenway.
He's been hurt most of this.
We brought him in to be physical, and he's not as physical as he used to be. I feel like Jordan Greenway, he's so slow, he's not as physical, and he just looks like he's behind the play every time he's on the ice.
Well, we didn't bring him out to fucking skate circles, though. He's supposed to be the physical presence.
He was
on the
playing
team.
the penalty kill, and he just looked out of place against the Islanders.
It's just a big body to have out there, man. You don't need the fastest guys out there on the penalty kill either.
You kind of do. You kind of want to get that. You kind of want to get that breakout speed.
You need a big body to block shots.
But he's not blocking shots.
And just get a stick in the way.
He's not even doing that. I watched him live on Tuesday, and I'm just like, every time he was on the ice, he just looked
he's
like
our fourth line, man. Like
he shouldn't be. Man. Our fourth line was Sam Carrick, who, thank God, he got hurt the other day. Thank God he's week to week and not ruled out for playoffs.
Who?
Sam Carrick. We traded for him from the Rangers, who was absolutely phenomenal for Buffalo. He had 4 goals, 1 assist, and was averaging about 11 minutes on ice on the fourth line, and had a 65% face-off percentage. And we traded for him because of his face-off ability. The dude was a -7 or something when we traded for him from the Rangers, but he's been phenomenal for us. He played great against Tampa Bay the first time when it was 15 goals and 140,000 penalty minutes. He played great that game. His first game as a Sabre, he was the guy that was on the ice taking the faceoffs when we were up by 1, and he was winning them, and we won that game because of him winning these faceoffs and keeping it away from the other team. So Sam Carrick has been a stud for Buffalo.
I don't even hear this guy.
Well, that's because you don't watch hockey like I do.
Yeah, I don't watch.
I'm watching enough. Yeah. I'm watching enough
that's
of the Sabres.
That's not even a fucking name I even remember.
We traded for him. We traded for him, Stanley, Luke Shen, who's been a healthy scratch. Probably 9 out of 10 games.
I looked up Shen because I was looking at. So I was watching the first period before you came over, and I see Stanley fight, and I go, "Who the fuck is that?" And then I look up and see we traded for Stanley and Luke Shen in the same deal.
Yeah, from Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
Yep.
And first of all, I'm like, when did Luke Shen go to Winnipeg? Because I thought he was on the Blues. And
yeah, he was.
And he was on 3 different teams the last year. So
Luke Shen.
He hasn't played though. He's only played 2 games since he's been on the fucking team.
Which, because he's a death piece, we're saving him for playoffs. He's another big guy that's physical.
He's a big guy.
But obviously, but Zach Metza, circling back, when he got sent back down to Rochester, fans were irate because Zach Metza has been the second best defenseman for Buffalo since he's been here. He's got the best plus minus behind Dahlin. I don't think there's been a goal against Buffalo with Zach Metza on the ice since like fucking November. He's been that good.
That's pretty incredible if that's the case.
I'm 99% positive that's the case.
Where's Metza at? Let's see. Metza.
He's absolutely fantastic.
Let's see his bitch ass on here.
Owen Power has actually stepped into a bigger role than I thought he was going to. I thought Owen Power was just this soft defenseman. He's given up some plays. He's given up some goals.
Plus 21.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. He has not been on. I don't think he's had a goal against his defensive line since he came to Buffalo in November.
Yeah,
which is incredible.
So Logan Stanley is a third liner, like I thought. Greenway a fourth liner, like I thought.
Mm-hmm. But Sam Carrick.
He is on the penalty kill with McLeod.
Sam Carrick and Beck Malenstein. Those two have fed off of each other on the fourth line so well that I'm like, Beck Malenstein might be like, he looks like a top 6 forward because of the play that him and Sam Carrick have, the way they played together. Mm-hmm. They look so good. And Benson was on the fourth line with Malenstein and Sam Carrick. And you watch them on the fourth line, they're like, this could be a top 2 line in the NHL.
I just looked up Carrick. So now looking at his picture and last name, because I was like, who is this guy? I do remember him on the Rangers roster.
Yeah.
But he was like a third liner.
But he wasn't good. If you look up.
because they have fucking.
But look up his.
And like, they already had their first 2 lines were.
I get it, but look up his stats on the Rangers and look up his stats on Buffalo. It's night and day. Sam Carrick is a plus, like a plus like 5 on offense. whereas he was like a minus like 11 on the Rangers. He wasn't.
Well, we don't have a large sample size either with the Sabres.
But the games that he's played, he looked absolutely phenomenal. He fits right in with this team. He fits in. He's willing to drop the gloves.
Games played.
The reason he got injured is because he dropped the gloves right off the bat on the third period after Josh Norris took a hit into those corner boards where the bench ends and the fucking glass starts. And Josh Norris took a hit from behind that should have been a penalty that was ruled not a penalty, busted his chin open, and then ended up coming back in the game, thankfully. But Sam Carrick was like, you know what? I'll drop the gloves with the dude that fucking hit him. And right off the bat of the third period on Tuesday, he dropped the gloves. He didn't need to, which is why I said Stanley should have been doing that fucking job. Mm-hmm. But Sam Carrick actually looked the part of, he fits in with Buffalo and the culture that they've got. That's what I love about Sam Carrick. He just fits right in. Like, he was here this entire season, basically. That's what I've seen from him, you know, since we traded for him.
Arm injury. When is he coming back?
It's just an upper body arm injury. They said it's week to week, not ruled out for playoffs. So the initial reports, even
playing on the third line,
he would play on the fourth line with Beck Malenstein and Greenway on Tuesday. Even Greenway should have been the guy to fight, you know, whoever hit Josh Norris. Me and Casey were talking about this after the game because we were both there and we both saw this and we were both like, I'll give Sam Carrick my left arm if that's what he needs. Mm-hmm. And Casey had sent me one of the Bills doctors had posted about Sam Carrick's injury. It said it looks like a dislocated shoulder, could be week to week, but on the negative side, could also need surgery and end his season. So we're hoping that the shoulder dislocation is actually week to week, doesn't need surgery, and he's back in like 3 weeks right when playoffs start. Because I really think that Sam Carrick is one of the, and it's crazy to think that we're talking about Sam Carrick, a guy we just traded for on the fourth line. Is one of those guys that's like, yeah, we need him for playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sure. As far as like the depth and the late line, sure. We need Tage Thompson to keep performing. Mm-hmm. We need Dahlin and Tuck to keep performing. Tage has 37 goals. He could get to 40 before the end of the regular. He scored tonight?
No, he scored on Tuesday.
Maybe they didn't count it. He should easily get to fucking 40 then by the end of the season. Give him 2 more goals.
Absolutely.
In this, I think we have 6 games left.
You know what's crazy? Sorry to cut you off. Tage Thompson is like the fourth or fifth Buffalo Sabre in history to have 4 seasons with 30 plus goals since Doug Gilmour, Phil Housley, like old guys.
Well, that's because
they haven't been played since the 90s.
Well, we haven't made the playoffs in 30
But I thought
years,
Jack Eichel, he was here for a few years. I thought,
was Jack Eichel even here for 3 years?
He was here for 4 or 5. And who was the other one I was thinking? Oh, Jeff Skinner. He had a 50-goal season.
Yeah.
Which
he had a 50-goal season?
Look
Skinner?
it up. I'm pretty sure Jeff Skinner had a 50. Might have been like high 40s, but I'm pretty sure he had a 50-goal season.
Where is?
As you're looking that up, but
I'll just go to one. There it is.
I'm pretty sure Jeff Skinner had a 50-goal season.
Goals 40.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe I'm thinking 40 then.
Okay, I was gonna say 50 is fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah,
That's like
50.
Stamkos had like a 50-goal season.
50 is incredible,
but that's still really good. Like that's a nutty season right there to have 40 goals still.
Yeah, that was Jack Eichel's that was when he played with Jack Eichel and he was on the line with Jack Eichel. Like Jeff Skinner had the same thing when he played with, to higher tier passers and more elite players than that. But
Dahlin, 67 points, 17 goals, 50 assists, but he's still one of the amongst one of the highest scoring defensemen, even though he's only got 17 goals. But two-way player. Talk 59 points, 29 goals, 30 assists. And then you got Ryan McLeod, which came out of nowhere here. I don't know. He had 50 points this season. Jack Quinn, who I liked.
I thought he was
minute
getting
we fucking
traded.
got this guy, and then he got was he hurt last year or the year before?
The year before.
The year before. So the year before that, he had a really good year. He gets hurt, pissed, comes back next year, does numbers. This year he's on pace to break everything.
Yep.
But this is the player I thought after seeing the first year he played, but his second year on the team, it was his best career year. And then it kind of went down, but it was still about the same. And then he got hurt, and then he had a bounce back year, and now he's looking to shatter everything this year.
My biggest surprise this year is Josh Doan.
Josh Doan, 47 points, 23 goals, 24 assists.
Who, when he was with Seattle, they didn't want him. He was the bonus piece when we traded J.J. Paterka to Seattle.
Was that
we
Kettering
traded
too? Was that Kettering in that trade, or was that
Kesselring.
Or Kesselring?
We traded J.J. Paterka for Kesselring, and they're like, "Here, take Josh Doan with you too." And we're like, "Okay." And Josh Doan has been an absolute stud. Josh Doan is on every play. He's making great goals.
He's on the third line now, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny because we've always used to look and be like, the Sabres have one line.
Yeah.
You look at all three lines and they're good. And I've said this in the past too. You need three good lines to go into a playoff and win playoff
Well, we've
games.
got 4 good lines right now.
You need at least
especially
three.
with Sam Carrick.
You see, man, you really like this guy.
I love Sam Carrick.
You really need to have
love Sam
a
Carrick.
minimum of 3 lines. You need, you look at the Lightning and you look at the Panthers and these teams that have won recently, and they have at minimum of 3 lines. They have 2 solid defense lines and they have good goaltending, and it's the perfect situation. And then you look at the Sabres, you go, well, we got Tage and Tuck, and it usually ends there. Oh, we got Darlene, and it ends there. Oh, well, the goaltending's not the greatest. Now you look at it and you go, wow, we have 3 fucking lines.
Yeah.
And we haven't had 3 lines in a long time.
Long time.
Where there's goal scorers across. When your third line winger is putting up, 47 points or whatever it was, that's nutty, dude.
Yeah.
Zucker, 39 points, 22 goals, and that's all in 55 games because Zucker missed some fucking... A little scrummage in front of the net.
Scrummage, sorry.
Zucker, 39 points, 22 goals, 17 assists in 55 games because of injury. Like, what? He was on pace to be up there with fucking probably Tuck.
Yeah.
If he played the whole season, give him another 20-something more games.
Yeah.
No, more than that. 30 games. He'd be up there with Tuck, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Pace up. So
I think so too.
It's incredible. We talked about the goaltending. I know you said it's been slipping a little bit, but still, overall, Alex Lyon, 20 wins, 2.69 goals against, and a 910 save. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 18 wins, 2.5 goals against, 911 save percentage, and pretty evenly split. I know he's got another game under his belt, but 35 games for Lyon, about 31 for UPL. Dude, the goaltending is so split, dude, evenly, and it's been working. I like keeping the legs fresh out there.
Yep.
I like how we're alternating it. You just play the hot goalie is typically how that works, though.
Yep.
So, depending on the rest schedule, it could be on the Lion going into the playoffs, or it could be on.
I think it's gonna be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Whoever that goalie is at the very end there, you're going to play at least the first 2 games of the series in the playoffs and ride the hot hand until either we lose or he just needs a fucking rest. But you're going to ride that hot hand. They did that with fucking the Panthers, dude. Obviously, their backup goaltender wasn't as good as our goaltending splits because they had one really good guy and a backup goaltender.
Yeah.
Although I think Stellaris was the fucking backup for the Panthers.
Yeah, you're
he
right.
wasn't even bad when he came in, but that just team was so good. When your defense is that good, it helps your goaltending out as well. You're not getting these fucking just peppered with shots the entire time. So.
And speaking of Alex Lyon, he was asked the other day about the splits with the goaltending and how it's going to go forward. And he's like, listen, if Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen gets the starts the rest of the season, he's like, I don't care. He's like, if this guy goes on a 16-0 run into the fucking playoffs and we win the Stanley Cup because of him, he goes, I will never be happier for anybody else. And I think that commodity with your other goaltender, even though you're kind of competing for the starting job, even though he's basically saying like, yeah, if I'm the fucking backup and this guy, carries us into the playoffs, goes on a 16-0 run through the playoffs, wins the Stanley Cup, and I win a Stanley Cup because of him, like, I couldn't be happier. And that's the type of shit that I love to see, with our goaltending. Like, this guy's like, yeah, Alex Lyon, he's kind of bounced around the league a little bit, and he's had a phenomenal season with the Sabres this year, above average of what probably was expected of him, and being like, yeah, if Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen gets the starting nod for the rest of the season into the playoffs, and he goes on this fucking magical run, and we win 16 games in a row in the fucking playoffs, he's like, why would I ever be mad at that?
Right.
And you love that type of attitude from your backup goaltender, who realistically could be your starting goaltender. Dude, I'm all in. I'm all in on the Sabres team right now.
This is what I was trying to find. That's too hard to see. I'll pull it up on my screen. I'll just tell you. Lyon 2 years ago on Detroit had a really good season.
Yep.
And 904, very close. He's got a 909 now. 904 save average. Played 43 games too. 10 more games than he currently has now. He went 43, 21, and 18. Played a lot of games that year. With a 904 and a 3.05 goals against, which has come down from that to 2.8 the next year and 2.69 this year,
which I think helps with the defense. Our defense has actually stepped up. We've talked about the Sabres before. We've had the offensive explosion, but we never had the defense, and we've never had the goaltending to make up for the defense. And our goaltending has been phenomenal this year. Our defense has actually stepped up, but now we're looking at a spot where Ottawa just scored. Ottawa just scored. We're down 2-1. I believe in the Sabres team though. Like, if the Sabres were down right now, I'd be like, man, a lot of time. But we're at this point where I believe in our goaltending, and I believe in our defense to help our goaltending, which we haven't really been able to say as a Sabres team in a long time. So
absolutely, it's been like the Ryan Miller years.
We've got a very good balance. We don't have great. I'll be honest, we don't have great goaltending. They both have played above expectation.
Yeah, well,
but our defensive also.
Really. It's like they're splitting so much where you're running a tandem. It's like the NFL. You're running a tandem backfield. You're running a tandem goaltending.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily sustainable.
I don't think that's true.
When you get to the playoffs, you need a number one.
Well, no, but you're gonna just ride the hot hand. You're playing in series, so like if this series he does good, we keep playing until they lose. Then the loss happens. You switch up goaltending. If that guy gets hot, you play him until
right.
That's literally how it's gonna go, because you take it series by series in the playoff, essentially game by game. But you're really just riding the hot hand versus, all right, this is our guy going into it. No. We don't have a number one. You don't need a number one. We haven't needed a number one, and it's worked. So just ride the hot hand into the playoffs.
I'm just saying, both goalies played above expectations.
Oh, they did.
Especially when we've won like 35 out of 50 games or some shit like that, or 35 out of 40 games.
I feel like we've never seen UPL like this.
We did. There was a 2 seasons ago, between January and the end of the season, he was like his numbers were Vezina candidate worthy.
Okay.
But the team in general wasn't that good. So Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, he can be the actual number one guy and show these flashes. Mm-hmm. But there's times where it's like, oh, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen starting, like, how many goals is he going to give up this game?
Yeah.
That's the only issue that I have with him. He's either going to be great, or he's going to be like, fuck, we might win this game with him in net. There's kind of no in between with him. He's going to be great, or we're going to rely on our offense to score more than their offense, which is kind of like the Tampa Bay game back in March on that Sunday night game where there was 15 goals and he let up 7 goals and 28 shots. And was it I forget Tampa's goalie, number 88. Vasilevsky gave up 8 goals in like 40 shots. So it's like
bad goaltending night by both guys.
It was, but Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen technically had a worse goaltending night. So we'll see. I'm excited. The Sabres, if they win this game, we're guaranteed a playoff spot, and we're gonna break the drought. And I no longer have. And I told this to Casey. I no longer have to say, "Oh, the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 14 years." The New York Jets.
Yeah.
But the Sabres are on the same drought. You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, fuck the Jets. We got the Bills. But the Sabres haven't done anything. It's like, now we can get rid of that shit. Like, the Sabres have made the fucking playoffs.
I know. I'm glad we're finally over that hump. One last thing here, heading into the postseason, we have, I think, more strengths than concerns or weaknesses going into the playoffs.
I would agree.
We talked about it. I think our recent form, we've looked good. Balanced scoring, we have multiple lines that can do it. Stable I'll say stable goaltending, not elite, but stable goaltending, and an improved defense, fewer goals against since the turnaround. I'd say the big concern here is just the lack of experience going into the playoffs.
Which we've traded for guys that have playoff experience, which is why I'm like, okay, they're not playing now.
Like a culture shock to your key core guys. Tage Thompson, Dahlin, dude, his first playoff game ever, dude.
Right,
like,
you're right.
These are guys that are key. Alex Tuch, these are guys that are key.
Tuch has played in the playoffs.
Was he with the
Vegas played in the playoffs?
But at least Thompson and Dahlin,
you're
basically
who are the longest tenured Sabres players right at this point.
Those are the guys. It's like, I'm not nervous that they can't get it done, but it might be a culture shock thing to them where they're like, okay, we finally fucking made it. It just worries me that we might get off to a shaky start, or it could be the reverse of that where, depending on how this shakes out, I think we would have home ice no matter what for the first game. If we're winning, or do we have a bye? Well, we have a bye, wouldn't we?
No, we would not have a bye. We would probably if we win the Atlantic Division, depending on how Carolina does, we would either be first in the East or second in the East.
Okay. But we would have a bye, I think, or not a bye. We would still have home ice first game.
Home ice for the first round minimum. Yeah.
Yes. So the reverse of that is home ice. The fans are going to be electric. I'm getting tickets for the first playoff game.
Me too.
You don't get them with your season.
Don't technically.
You get offered. Like
my grandmother, tickets, right? So my grandmother has the season tickets. She gets the first actual games, and she's allowed to buy 2 extra tickets for the first 2 games. I don't know how that works because she splits the season with 5 people.
I'm going regardless, but
so am I. I'm gonna try to buy extra tickets just in case I don't get tickets for the first game. I'm gonna try to buy as soon as they go on sale. I'm like, okay, I'm buying tickets.
Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of concerned me is just the inexperience. I understand we've gotten some guys to kind of help that out. And I think we'll be okay, but that if I have to pull out a weakness because they've just been so good as of recently, and they're just been on a roll, man. I'd say just the inexperiencedness, but I think we'll get past that.
So
I think the Sabres
you talked about Thompson and you talked about Dahlin having those weaknesses, not playing. Yeah. But you got to remember, Dahlin played for the Olympics for his home country, and I'm telling you, the Olympics are a lot harder to win.
It might be more of a you're talking about like pressure situation or
pressure situations. The Olympics are a lot harder because you're playing against the actual best of your country.
I get that.
So that's why I'm like,
it's more of like he still hasn't done this though. Like it's another thing, and he's been on the team as long as he's been, and it's been like we haven't made the playoffs.
But they're just coming off of this Olympic stretch where
that does help.
Where Dahlin probably, if he had better goaltending, probably would have beaten USA. And Thompson, even though he only averaged like 10.5 minutes per game.
Too many players on that fucking Olympic team.
But I'm saying, Thompson had 3 goals and 4 goals and an assist or something.
He did good with what the time he had on the ice, but
I think that pressure and just playing in those games where it's winner, it's basically winner go home at those points. I think those are the games where he's going to take them. Like, listen, I played in a one win or go home. It's not a series. They beat Sweden in a win or go home game. They beat Canada in the gold medal game. Those were games where they had to play at their absolute best against the absolute best. They're going to go against teams where their third, fourth lines, they got into the playoffs, especially the first couple rounds. They got into the playoffs, but they're like, well, the third or fourth line kind of fucking sucks.
I see what you're saying in that regard. I think that's a good comparison. I just think that it's totally different where the pressure, the situation, the pressure, playing in front of the crowd, you're playing in front of the world essentially with the Olympics, right? It's been on the bucket list for 13 years. It's 14 years.
Yeah.
And the city of Buffalo, it's more of like pressure to perform in front of your home fans.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not necessarily the U.S. because it's like I'm playing with the greatest. Like in Tage's case, I got the best hockey players in the U.S. on my team. I'm not even getting the most minutes out here. It's not really even on my shoulders, really. I'm a part of this, but it's not up to me. Versus now, it is up to Tage. It is up to Darlene. It is up to Tuck.
That's fair.
These are the guys we look towards to be the leaders now.
Absolutely
Tage
fair.
didn't have to be the leader. Now he's the leader, and it's in front of the home crowd for the city of Buffalo. That's what I'm saying. But I think I do like your take on it, and overall, I think we'll be okay. Last thing I want to touch on here before we close out is just NCAA March Madness here.
Fucking Duke.
Going into the fucking Final Four. The teams that are remaining, Michigan Wolverines, a 1 seed. Arizona Wildcats, a 1 seed. The Yukon Huskies, the 2 seed. And the Illinois Fighting Illini, a 3 seed. To recap our Final Four predictions, we really didn't do that well. Jeff, you had Duke, Florida, Gonzaga, Virginia. No teams left.
Nope.
In that one.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Who did you pick for your winner?
I picked Duke.
Was it Duke or Gonzaga?
Duke over Gonzaga.
Duke over Gonzaga. Gonzaga actually one of the first teams to get really upset in the tournament. I forgot. It wasn't Kennesaw. They lost the round after Kennesaw. Still, should not have lost as early as they did. Kind of a shock there. We all had Duke, Florida, and Duke and Florida. Greg and I had the exact same Final Four, but we all had Duke and Florida. Duke getting upset last round in the Elite Eight.
Bro, they should not have
from
lost
UConn. That game was. They were up at half by 15 at the half.
Yep.
Dominating that game. UConn couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Were shooting terribly. Second half starts, coaching adjustments. They start hitting shots. They chip away. Then it's a 1-point game, and you go, what the fuck just happened? Duke has a chance to basically close the game out.
They just needed to not turn the ball over.
You just have to hold it and go to the free throw line.
And they didn't, and they turned the fucking ball over, and that dude hit a shot of a fucking lifetime.
Dude.
That's going to be one of those
that's a late
fucking March Madness moments forever.
I told, and they don't want to hear it because they're all mad. Jeremy and Tim,
of
Duke
course,
fans.
yeah, Duke fans.
I said it when that happened that was the worst loss in recent history. I'll say recent because there could be some shit I don't know. I'm not a Duke fan, but that's the worst Duke loss in recent history that I've ever seen.
Lost by 1, up to with 10 seconds left, lost by 1 because of a 3-point fucking shot. Just past the midline.
So the culprit there, Caden Boozer, we call him Little Boozer. Little Boozer, they throw it in. He's an 85% free throw shooter. This is the play, dude. You throw it in, and you let him foul you, and you make one shot, and you're going to overtime if the miracle shot goes in, or you just make 2 and win the game. And which you should at that point. You don't even have to pass the ball. You don't even have to pass. Nope. You just hold the ball and take the foul because you're in the game because you can hit foul shots. That's why you're in the game.
The problem is they couldn't get the ball past the midway point. They were trying desperate. They had the 10 seconds to get over the midline, and they couldn't get over the midline. And last second they tried lobbing it up and it got fucking blocked.
I gotta go back and look at the replay because I actually didn't know how much time was left before when they inbounded it, because Jeff, I think it's 8 seconds to get it over the line.
Is it 8 seconds in college?
Yep, it's 8 seconds. So I'm pretty sure it's 8 seconds. if there was like 7 seconds left on the clock, then you don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
There was some
like
time
10,
left.
No, if there was like 10, I can see
There
that
was
being
some there was some time. Yeah,
because obviously you definitely don't want to take a turnover there or a shot violation there. So I can understand it. But I was thinking there was even less than that. I thought there was like 6, 7
no,
seconds
if
left.
that's the case, you just hold on to the fucking ball.
No, that's
Yeah.
the argument. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
No.
saying. I think
There was
only that
more than like
I gotta look
8 or
that
10
up.
seconds.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
And then Florida, second biggest upset,
Yeah.
losing to Iowa, which is a good program, and I like Iowa,
Yeah.
aka the new Drake Bulldogs, because it's the entire Drake team, including the coach and star player, basically transplant into
Yep.
Iowa. Did phenomenal making it to the Elite Eight. Nobody thought they were going to make it as far as they did. Nobody had them beating Florida outright, really. That was embarrassing. And looking back at it, I don't even know if they would have beaten either of the two teams on the other side with Arizona and Michigan, but I would have liked to see Florida get a little bit further. Greg had Duke, Florida, Arizona, Iowa State. I had Duke, Florida, Arizona, Iowa State. He picked Arizona to win the whole thing. He still got a chance to be correct in this bracket. Our Iowa State thing, that was another team that lost in the last round of the Elite Eight. They lost one of their best, if not their best player, in Jefferson. I think 2 in the Sweet 16 for the whole tournament. That kind of fucked things over because I thought they were going places. A little bit of a mixed match here with our Final Four. But if you look at this, I don't think anybody's surprised with the right side of the bracket with Michigan and Arizona, the 2-1 seeds. UConn, a little bit, because I think a lot of people had Duke, but still. And then the Fighting Illini, a 3 seed, making as far as they did.
Yeah.
I think this is something that there's definitely no perfect brackets left, I don't think.
No, they got
right,
busted.
no.
Round 2. Yeah, they all got busted.
So the Final Four game schedule here, the games start Saturday, April 4th, my birthday, 6 o'clock for the UConn-Illinois game, and 8:50 for the Michigan and Arizona game. National championship game will be played on Monday the 6th at 8:50, Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts play.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. Looking at this now, if I want to redo it, I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I think it's still going to be somebody out of that right side. Whoever wins that game is going to win it. I'm going to go with Arizona. I think Michigan and Arizona match up so well to each other.
Yeah.
It's very tough, and that's going to be a pick'em. So, like, it's very hard to – I think Illinois should beat UConn. So, one of those teams should play Illinois. I think it's Arizona, dude. I think they're a more balanced team. They have more shooters on that team. Michigan's got the big guys. They got a Daimara, 7'4", or however tall he is. They can rebound, which is a key contributing to that. But Florida's weakness, because they could rebound, was they didn't have any shooters. Arizona has the shooters. I think they'll be able to contend.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't pick Arizona was because I've seen Arizona fucking choke so many times in rounds that they shouldn't have choked in. It's like, I can't pick Arizona. That's why I pick Gonzaga over Arizona. Unfortunately, Gonzaga got bounced before they could play Arizona.
Yep.
It's just one of those things where it's like, well, it is what it is. I could see Arizona making it to the championship game at this point. I am going to go with my college team in the UConn Huskies. We talked about it. I was in Florida the year they won the college championship. I was on the plane home to Buffalo, and our connecting flight, I think it was like Charlotte or some shit. Hard to remember at 12 years old. When I was on the plane with the UConn Husky team and just seeing all the fucking players. I had my shirt on that I got from the airport of them winning the shit. So I'm going to go with UConn winning it all this year. They won it back-to-back years. 2 years ago, Florida can no longer win back-to-back. So I think UConn's going to win it 3 out of the last 4 years.
All right, guys. Hour and a half podcast today. We did cover a lot with Bills and Sabres talk. A lot of news, man. We'll probably be back on post-draft, I will say, just to cover the draft results and get our reactions on that, and hopefully the Bills don't fuck up. And, hopefully we have good news to report with that being said, dude. Yeah. I'm Mikey D.
I'm Jeff.
And we out.
Go Sabres.
Beer on tap, tables about to snap. Wide right miss, take another sip. From Orchard Park to the studio, Mikey D and Jeff with a G. It's the Bears and Buffalo Show.